And just the whole notion, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, I didn't see anything about it. We've been in this business a long time, and it ain't easy. And you've been interviewed by a lot of people to go in there and have to ask questions and do a job and have people not really think that you belong in there or you know what you're talking about.
Right.
And even harder for a woman, doubly, because it just is. She asked a really good question. I didn't see anything wrong with it. Not that it mattered. She could have asked a bad question. She
asked a deep question.
Right,
Yes.
right. It wasn't a surfacey, easy question. But this is like the battle we've had. I've been in this business 31 years. We've had over and over and over again. And it's a crutch for players who always are trying to push back as if we don't know the game because we didn't play on that level. I had a fight with Rick Barry on the radio who didn't believe I should have had an opinion about LeBron passing the ball, right?
Right.
In a big situation because I didn't play in the league.
By the way, Rick Barry, former radio partner of mine.
That's
in
it.
San Francisco. Go ahead.
You probably told him to rip me.
I
right?
did.
Is that what? But I'm saying, so to those people, I say, so please show me the tape of Bill Belichick in the NFL. Can you show me? I'll wait. I'll wait for that tape.
I can give you a bunch of names. Like
Okay.
A bunch of people who build teams now did not play past
How
high school.
about Popovich? Did he play in the NBA? People consider him one of the greatest coaches.
No.
Brad Stevens is the coach of the Celtics. Show me his resume tape or his minutes when he played in the league. So just because you didn't play in the league and didn't play at that level doesn't mean you don't know the game or hadn't studied it.
Right. Belichick played Division III college football, and that was it. Go ahead.
Right, and that was it. And then I would look at you, Shannon, and say, "What are you doing sitting here?
Exactly.
Did you go to journalism school?
Nope.
Did you go take up television?
Nope.
No. And look at have you succeeded in this business, right?
Yep.
Because you got an opportunity.
Skip.
You did your work. No, but you did your work
Yes.
and you learned how television works.
Yes.
So that's my point.
That's it.
Is that it's insensitive, it's wrong, it's out of bounds, and people should push back on him. It's not the end of the world, but today he should get pushed back on for people saying it's just not right.
I have a simple philosophy. If someone were to come to me and said I said something that was insensitive or I offended them in any way, I'm sorry.
Just
That was
apologize.
simple. Keep
And
it
he
moving.
was given that opportunity
given-
by her face-to-face
Right.
after this media session.
But
he did
but
not,
the
according to her.
Right, and the Panthers put out a statement making it seem as if he did apologize. No, it didn't happen. And that's the thing, though, Skip. You can't. He asked you a football question. The physicality of Devin Funchess and his route running. And because he's going home, she centered it around that because Devin Funchess, I guess, is from the Detroit area. I know he went to the University of Michigan. He's going to be playing in front of family and friends.
It's a great answer.
It's a great question.
Silver platter.
That's
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
And all you got to say was, hey, you know what? Funch has been doing a great job.
Yeah.
I've seen the progression that he's made. We asked him to do a lot more, and he's taken on that responsibility quite well. But you ask him about routes. Okay, she's a reporter. She covers football. What should she ask you about? How to make a bundt cake?
Right.
Stop assuming because she's a female, she doesn't know anything about football. She's not asking you specifics. What she's seen is that Devin Funchess is running a lot more physical in and out of his routes. He's breaking tackles. So
Perceptive, man.
she can see it.
She's the beat writer. She covers every game. She's there.
And it's been known that she talks to some of the guys and asks, okay, specifics. Okay, well, what about this and that? And why'd you run this? And what's the setup? But Cam, don't be like this.
She actually used a term I'd never heard, truck sticking. He's truck sticking after he catches the ball and runs over the linebacker or whoever.
As an African American, we hate stereotypes. And yet, Cam just gave up one just then. That's my thing is that I never ask more than I'm willing to give. I ask people to give me respect because I'm going to give it to them in return. And Cam, just be professional. Don't automatically assume because she's a female, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Even if she didn't, would you ask a man? It's funny. You never played football and you asked me about routes. Would you say that? No, you wouldn't. Just answer the question and keep it moving.
And there's plenty of guys in there who ask bad questions and don't know what they're talking
Bad
about either.
questions.
Am I right?
Foolish
All the
questions.
time.
Or don't know it.
Insulting questions.
And exactly. Don't know the difference between a screen porch and a screenplay, but they still got a job. They still ask questions, and guys will answer those questions.
What do we call them, Skip? The radio fool?
Yeah, that's what you call it.
Just holding the mic. They don't ask anything.
Yeah. So Joy Taylor, what was your first reaction when you first saw this?
I mean, I was disappointed because, like I said earlier, I think that Cam is a star in this league. I think the league is better when Cam Newton is playing at his highest level because he's so entertaining. He's a good-looking guy. He's a black quarterback. He's young. So I was disappointed, but it's more about we have so much going on today, and we don't need this. Like you said, why are you buying into a stereotype like that?
Especially all the stereotypes with African Americans that we've tried to stop saying this. Stop. This is a stereotype. This is a stereotype. And then he just offers
There was
up
a time that a black guy couldn't play quarterback
Yeah.
because he wasn't smart enough, right?
Yep.
He couldn't read defenses. He can't do this. He can't
It's
do that.
disappointing. It's immature, but most of all, it's disrespectful. And also, like I said earlier, everyone's saying that she's being PC or she's trying to be a victim. It was on camera in front of a room full of people. It's
Yeah,
not like
she didn't
she's
make it
coming
up.
out saying that this was said in private. She could have never put it out, and it still would have been out there for everyone to see. It's just, you have to work so hard to get credibility, and for him to just dismiss her like that in front of a room full of colleagues, he's going to need to apologize, but it just shows Cam's immaturity and his lack of self-awareness and his lack of progress for everything that he's already done and all of the involvements that he had in media. I mean, just last week he was walking in the hallway yelling about he doesn't want to do the interview and stuff, which I have no problem with, but treat everybody the same. And, you know, he showed that he doesn't really look at everybody the same.
So Cam Newton went as a top recruit to the University of Florida.
Yep.
So he's dealt with the media there, and then he won a national championship at Auburn. He's dealt with the media there. He knows how to play the game off the field, but he still doesn't get the game off the field. He's been the face of a franchise for 7 years, and now he insulted a female reporter when nearly half of NFL fans are female.
44%, right?
Won't play well. It's just a bad look for a guy who's still at age 28. It's not like he's in his second year. He just doesn't still get it. So I always try to look a little deeper. What's the circumstance? What's operating below the surface here? Well, Cam Newton, she's been covering the team for about a year now, from October to October. And through most of that time, he's had a rough time. And many Wednesdays, as you point out, that's your dreaded hot seat day when you're required by the team to go sit before the media gathering and answer questions. And I'm sure he's been asked a whole lot of rough, tough questions over the last year because he has struggled and they have struggled. So finally, he has a break back game where he broke back out and everybody said, wait, Cam is back. He just beat Brady at Brady. And he was really good in that game.
He was.
Arm and legs. And I'm thinking, did he have a beef with her? Maybe she'd been too hard on him in print, that he thought maybe she'd been so negative that I'm going to get back at you. I'm going to try to embarrass you in front of your peers. But it comes clear that when she confronted him afterward, just the two of them, he said he didn't even know who she was, didn't know her name. I assume he would know her face because she would always be around.
How many papers are in Charlotte and got people covering the team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not that many people.
They have 2 beat writers for the Charlotte Observer, but surely she'd be there every day in the locker room and he'd see her.
And she's one of them.
Right.
Yeah. So again, there's no backstory to this that I can see. He wasn't trying to get back at her. He was just, I think he got sort of like, I'm back in charge of this session now, so I can kind of be me a little bit more, kind of feeling myself a little bit. So I'm going to entertain you with this. I'm going to have a little aside here about, it's funny to hear her ask me that question. And it's just so wrong. And he's always saying too many wrong things at wrong times, because I'm with you. He has big star power to me.
Yeah.
He's right up there. Frankly, he has more star power than Tom Brady does.
Right.
His whole package,
His
the
personality,
smile,
yes.
the charisma,
Yes.
the dabs,
clothes.
the crazy clothes are pretty out there, but it's that Russell Westbrook
Yeah.
style, and you just say,
But it
wow.
plays to him.
Yeah,
That's
it works.
His
It works.
personality is outgoing.
Hey, well, this is, I mean, I can argue he's right up there with, who do we have? J.J. Watt, Tom Brady, biggest stars in this league.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Rodgers.
Right there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, yeah. And you can't keep doing or saying the wrong thing. And he went through that long, dry spell period after those first 2 sensational games as a rookie, in which he kept trying to distance himself from his team. I got to get them on my level. Remember when he used to sit over on the bench, put the towel over his head, like, I don't want to be seen with those guys because they're embarrassing me. He just hasn't, like I told Shannon earlier, I love Dak Prescott because of his leadership charisma qualities, where he just took over the franchise. He's not the most charismatic in interviews or in personality, but he led the football team out of what I think is the Tony Romo wilderness. And Cam has all this ability, and all he was an MVP of this league, and he still can't lead the franchise by saying and doing. It doesn't always have to be the exact right thing, but to stay out of the way of this. And again, I've told you before, are there a bunch of players who have this same mindset about
Not
women?
only players, Skip, there's a lot of guys.
A lot of guys.
Coaches,
and I'm sure a lot of
guys who are
I'm
all
sure
on board with
I'm
Cam
sure a lot of
Newton.
Cam fans are out there saying,
What
way to go. You know, like, good. You spoke the truth.
Right.
Well, yeah, you spoke the painful truth.
Quarterbacks have the hardest job on the field and off of it, Skip, because they're always supposed to be buttoned up and say the right things, no matter how bad the situation. He might throw 4 interceptions,
I agree.
but he got to come in, put a smile on his
part of
face,
the
and
job.
answer the tough questions. And so this should be beneath Cam. At some point in time, we can't say, well, he's young. I mean, you know, he'll get it. No. He's 20, about to be 28 years old. Cam knows that.
No, he's a grown man.
Yeah.
He's just an immature grown man. You're right. It should be beneath him. I mean, we as black people hate being assumed that because you're a certain race that you're not capable of doing something or achieving something. So how do you think it feels to be told because you're born a certain sex that you don't have the brain to figure something else out? That your colleagues who have the same amount of experience playing the game as you do are assumed that they know more.
I'm going to say one thing. Claire Smith was just inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, right?
I saw that.
First female black woman who wrote for the New York Times, Philadelphia Inquirer.
Hey, she paid a bunch of dues.
She paid her dues and as good as anybody else out there.
agree.
There was a time
Yeah.
it was hard for her to be in the locker
I
room
agree.
and guys pushed back on her as she persevered. She knows as much baseball as anybody else out there.
Really,
we need to get off of that.
If there's a woman in the sports media business who has a job, you should have assumed that she has paid her dues. Trust me.